Hi guys, this is Miss Matt reporting from her home office today. Sorry I can't be there, but I did want to continue on. I want to make sure you guys get started on two-step equations. We've already looked at one-step equations. I've been having you do that in that quiz the last few days just to remind you of how to solve those. And today I'm going to teach you a method for solving two-step equations. This is called the cover-up method. And it really is we're not going to continue using this method after today, but we'll use it to help us use inverse operations from tomorrow on. So let's take a look at a very simple example. And I'm going to show you how we use that cover-up method. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm already making mistakes. 50 oh no, that's right. Oh, good grief. Okay, so 50 equals 35 plus 5n. Okay, so this is how the cover-up method works. I cover up the part that has the variable, and I'm going to use logic. I'm going to say, what would I add to 35 to get 50? And you guys have good number sense, so you're probably thinking, well, that's going to be 15. So that means this right here is 15. Now let's cover up the rest of it. What does n have to be so that this right here, 5 times n, is 15? And again, you're probably already there. N has to equal 3. So that's how the cover-up method works. Pretty simple, right? And this is not a new form of torture. This is really important, and you need to be able to do this. You have to check your answers every single time that you solve an equation. And it may not seem important right now, but we're going to be going into multi-step equations after this, and you absolutely have to check your answer, okay? All right, so let's check it. So I'm saying that n is 3. So I'm going to write out my equation just like it was, except for instead of n right here, I'm going to put 3 because that's what I think that n is. Then I'm going to simplify completely. And say, oh, yeah, 50 is equal to 50. So this is the correct answer. I have just checked it and I know for sure that it is. Okay. Let's take a look at another type of problem that you're going to see, and I'll show you how to use the cover-up method for it. Let's do x divided by 2 minus 7 is equal to -4. Okay. All right, folks, let's go ahead and cover up the part that's happening with a variable. So I'm going to cover up, see that if you used order of operations, you would divide first. So I'm going to cover up this whole thing. And I'm going to say, what needs to be under my finger to make this equation true? Okay, so I'm going to subtract 7 and I get -4. Well, that means this had to be +3. So this right here has to be +3. Now I'm going to cover up the rest of this, okay? What would x have to be to make that +3? And I hope you're already there. If you're not, that's okay. But it needs to be 6, because 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I'm saying that x is equal to 6. Now, like I said, you check every answer. The nice thing about checking your answers is that on a test, you know for sure that you've done it correctly when you check your answers and they work, okay? So all I did is I wrote the equation down and I just put 6 in for x. And then I'll get 3 minus 7 is equal to -4. And then when I subtract that, so you know that it works when both sides of the equation are equal to each other. So we can say, yes, x is equal to 6. Okay. I'm gonna have you guys try a couple of these, and then I'll show you a different form for these type of problems. Okay, remember you're covering up the part that has the variable, and you're gonna then try to figure out what was underneath that. Okay, and then let's do, okay, pause the video. Try these two problems real quick. Check your answers, and then we'll take a look when you're done. All right, hopefully you've had a chance to look at these. If you didn't pause it and do these problems, pause it now and do them. For the rest of you, let's get started. I always cover up the part that has the variable in it. And I'm gonna say, well, what would I add to 6 to get 41? It would be 35. Then I'm gonna cover up all of this, and I'm gonna say, well, what times 5? It gives you 35. W would need to be 7. I'm gonna check it. So I'm gonna write down the equation, except for where W is, I'm gonna put in 7, and I'm just gonna verify that 7 makes this equation true. Yeah, I'm good. Okay, so 7 is the solution here. Next one, I'm gonna cover this up. What would I add to 5 to get negative 10? Well, that would be negative 15. Then I'm gonna cover this up. What divided by 3 gives you negative 15? Well, P would have to be negative 45, because negative 45 divided by 3 is negative 15. Let's check it. I'm gonna write my equation down just like it's written, except for instead of putting P, I'm gonna do negative 45. And then I'm gonna simplify it to make sure that this equation is true. Yeah, this looks great. Yeah, so we verified that is the correct solution, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a different form. Now, once I teach you how to do inverse operations, we'll do these forms one at a time. I'll teach you this form first, and then I'll teach you the next form. But for the cover-up method, it doesn't matter, because it's all kind of the same. So let me flip this over. Just a reminder, with a video lesson, you can pause this at any point, rewatch it, whatever you need to do to be successful. Okay, let me show you a different form. We have m times 3, or sorry, 4 times 3 plus m is equal to 20. Now this time, if I was using order of operations, this is grouped together, right? We would do our grouping first if we knew what m was. So that's actually the part that I'm gonna cover up. And I'm gonna say, well, what times 4 gives me 20? You all should be saying 5 here. Then I'm gonna cover this up. What would I add to 3 to get 5? Well, that would be 2. And then I'm gonna check my answer. Yeah. Okay, so 2 does make that equation true, so we know it's correct. Okay. Let's take a look at another problem that's similar to this, but different. Okay. Remember, parentheses is one type of grouping. Another type of grouping that you're going to get is using that fraction division bar. I'll use M again. Okay. So in this case, the part that is grouped with our variable is on the top. So I'm actually going to cover that. And I'm going to say, okay, what would I divide by 2 to get -5? Hopefully you are saying -10. Can you guys hear my cat? She's trying to get in here while I'm teaching the lesson. All right. Now that I know that this portion right here has to be -10, I'm going to cover everything up. What would M have to be to make that -10? It looks like M would have to be -8. So I'm going to say M is -8. Now, if I was wrong and then I plugged it in to check it, it wouldn't work. Both sides would not be equal like this, and you would know that you did the wrong, you were incorrect, and then you could go back and fix it. So instead of M, I'm going to put -8. And this is -10 divided by 2. Yep, guys, this is great. -8 is the solution. All right, let me give you a couple to practice. Let's do number 1. 28 is equal to 4 times M plus 5. Oh my gosh, my cat is not gonna stop until I let her in, you guys. And let's do 13 plus F divided by 2 is equal to 11. All right, pause the video. Oops, sorry, you can't see them. Pause the video, try those problems, and then we'll do it together in just a moment. All right, I just let my cat in, so hopefully she leaves us alone. All right, let's go ahead and go over these. I'm going to cover this up. What times 4 would be 28? Well, this would be 7. Now I'm going to cover this up. What would I add to 5 to get 7? Well, that would be 2. And I'm going to check it. So 28 is equal to 4 times 7 plus 5. And oops, sorry, not 7. We decided that the variable was 2. M is equal to 2. I was looking at that going, it just doesn't look right. And that is true, it does not look right. All right, yeah, we're good, that works. Okay. Now let me cover up this. What would I divide by 2 to get 11? That would have to be 22. So this right here would have to be 22, and I'm going to cover everything else up. What would I add to 13 to get 22? Well, that would be 9. So let's check it. Yeah, we're good, you guys. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the cover-up method. You have homework to do. After your homework, I have a couple videos for you to start preparing for tomorrow's lesson, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about the balanced equation, and we're going to be using inverse operations to solve these. So be prepared. If you have extra time, watch those videos, and I will see you tomorrow.